Totally distracted. Reading up on cozy games.
Anything good?
Lot of good buzz about that competitive dress-up game coming out on the Switch. A lot of good words. And Fae Farms has some good reviews coming out from playtesters, which is an Animal Crossing but fairy type. I don't know. I kind of got bored with the home design aspect of Animal Crossing a lot faster than I was expecting. But yeah, I might see if they've ported any of the Dr. Lawson's games. I really liked those.
Oh, Dr. Lawson, that's something different. Sorry, I thought you said Dr. Lawson. My first thought was Professor Layton, and I really
That might be what I'm talking about, Professor Layton.
Actually, Dr. Lawson sounds like something too.
I think Dr. Lawson is the brand of. Is a brand of. I don't know.
I'm trying to look it up, and the thing that keeps coming up is Dr. Lawsuit.
That's great. So, we are back on our making of bath bombs. Jumping right back into my absolute favorites, the Pokeballs.
You love it. You secretly love it.
Nice. Openly tolerate? That one too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That gets this little section right.
Hello, Midnights.
Hello! And I have liquid on my table, so I'm going to drink this real quick. So anyway, I know, no liquid on the table while we're making bath bombs, but I'm thirsty. And marble soda's delicious. Look at the marble. But we've got our Pokemon. We're starting to make a dent in here finally, but I've got more. I actually thought we got a little farther than this, so ooh, he's new. He's gonna go first. But yeah. So we're gonna make these tonight. We're gonna make soot sprites. Well, we're gonna make these Kirby and then soot sprites, because we still need to make a lot of bath bomb for our upcoming conventions. But
Make it to mix again.
yeah, so Zulu's back helping us out. He's processing a couple bars of soap, and then he'll be mixing up stuff for us. And then we have a bunch of soap to cut. We have 70, 80, 90. We have 100 bars of soap to cut tonight. Yay! Why do I do this to myself sometimes? I don't know. Eleanor, welcome in! Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm finishing my beverage before starting bath bombs real quick, because beverage plus bath bomb powder equals bad. And I already opened it, and it doesn't have a lid, so I can't close it. But it's fitting because I'm drinking Ramune, and these are scented like Ramune. So, confirmation. Though they smell a little bit more like the Whale brand versus this one, but this is the Snow Fox special one, so. Okay. Empty bottle. The preview pic of the stream looks like boobs. Maybe. Those are some strange looking boobs. All right. Let's get in here. Gotta get enough of this in there. This has been sitting for a bit. Needs to get mixed up. And I said I was going to do him first. So we have, if the red one is red and the other's not, please see a doctor. Yeah, that's probably a big case of mastitis and should be dealt with quickly before it goes to, you know, your heart and lungs and lymph nodes. Yay! So we have this terrifying looking fish man with a bumpy lower body, bumpy tail thing. And a little, he looks like a scared fish. I don't know. I don't know who he is. But he's going in. I can't be here to Google Pokemon today. I got duties. Yep, so someone else is gonna have to help us figure out who all these weirdos are. Thing over here. Spa Day, new favorite hands down. Ah, yes, Spa Day is very, very popular. The Eucalyptus and Spearmint was one of our most requested when I first started, but we didn't have it for a while. So, ever since, we have to make it constantly. We're actually going to be cutting a fresh loaf of that, so if you stick around till later, you can check it out. See what it looks like as a slab. Beautiful. All right, off to a good start. I guess we'll need to make more chill pills soonish. Oh, yeah, we will have to make more of those. One of the downsides of making so many different things is I have so many different things to make. But it's almost Halloween. I think chill pills is more of a Christmas gifty item. Or maybe should have been worked on when we were doing January stuff. But yeah. Alright. Look, we have a shiny Mew. The tail's a little iffy, but I've gotten away with Mews in the past, so we're gonna assume that it's gonna work. Grim keeps going outside. It looks like there might be some weather rolling in. Or he's just looking for his friends to go borking.
Stuff I forgot to do is done.
Yay! Zulu's coming in to do some work.
Yeah, I gotta earn my paycheck too.
I'm paying you?
Yep.
This is news to me. We may need to rethink our entire structure. There's this little red guy who we've had before, who's like some slightly angry robot dog thing.
Here.
Yeah, we've definitely done this guy before. Why do you not know? You're supposed to be my Pokemon expert.
Only know Gen 1. A little bit of extra. No Wooloo. Is there a Wooloo in there?
I don't know if I know Wooloo. Oh, yeah, I do. No, we put her...
Sheep, that became a meme.
Yeah, actually.
And some people want to believe the only good thing.
Oh, no, that's not Wooloo. I could have sworn I saw one in here. It may already be in a Pokeball or out in the world. So I've been trying to get back into more games and playing more games because I've been having more time. And I just got Sea of Thieves, and I was having fun. And then last night, a couple of dumb kids spawn camped me, and I got really pissed off because they sank my ship, and they spawn camped me until they finally sunk my ship. It was very rude. Now I'm thinking about getting Pokemon Snap because I don't have to play with others.
Good thing that happened before I bought it because I was going to play with you.
I will play with you. I just I probably would have been okay if it wasn't just 2-on-1. Because that was mean.
You need me to go in there and...
Need you to go in and kick those kids' butts. They stole my my trident.
They stole your trident?
They stole my trident.
That's a lot. Let's go. We're gonna learn them all I know.
Yeah. Dumb kids. And play Pokemon Smile and get Pokemon for brushing your teeth. Oh, that's cute. That's really cute.
I've heard about it. I don't understand it though. Is it just basically like an electric toothbrush? And
Because, like, I have one of those weird smart toothbrushes that connects with my phone, which I still think is weird. There's this electric mouse that's not Pikachu, but wants to be Pikachu. And no, it's not off-brand Pikachu, because Pikachu is right here, and they are 100% different electric mice. So, I don't know. There's some weird ones. Janie, do you know Pokemon? Do you know them enough to help us figure out who these creatures are? Welcome back in the house, Grim.
One day we'll have a Pokemon expert in here.
One day.
I mean, we have been rated by a Pokemon expert recently. Maybe she'll come back.
Maybe she'll come back. We did say to keep an eye on our stream for the next time we do Pokemon.
I was actually in her stream a little bit the other day. She was doing these giveaways where basically anything Pokemon related that you wanted her to draw, she would. So if you had like your own Pokemon idea, or like a fusion of two others, or whatever.
Or like a really elaborate version of Magikarp turning into a Gyarados.
I was getting there. It's in my story for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I entered the giveaway with a dim hope that I would have my next tattoo idea drawn out.
And was your hope delivered upon?
Of course not.
Of course not.
I've been in there that long. It's ready for stream. I think this was on Monday.
We have a shiny Psyduck. He's looking a little pale. Maybe that headache's gotten too bad. Perhaps. You may need to speak a little louder. You may need to speak a little louder.
Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling, right?
Can you guys hear Zulu all right, or do I just sound like I'm talking to nothing again? I mean, that is kind of what streaming is, I guess.
Unrecognized command.
Does not recognize your authority.
Apparently not.
So,
You really understand me anyway. I barely understand myself.
So I got a new circle mold, and I was going to use it tonight. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just use my old one last time. And guess who's behaving really well today?
Please don't throw me in the garbage.
Right?
We're not going to throw you into the garbage. We're going to send you to Moco.
Yep.
Uncertain on which fate is worse.
What is that?
We'll find out.
Oh, there's a screaming child outside. That's what's going on. And a Pikachu. I bet it's that little boy sticking his head over the fence. I bet that's why Grim keeps going out. There's a very sweet little boy who I think visits the house behind us, because he's not there all the time. Because it'll be like a couple of weeks of balls in the backyard, and then it'll be nothing for months. Now granted, it might be because he runs out of balls, because we do take a while to throw them back. But still, most of them go back.
They at least go back every 2 weeks.
Yeah. But sometimes he'll stick his... I can hear him, but can't understand him. No one can understand him.
I'm trying to speak up a little bit more.
He's behind the camera and everything, like across the room.
It should be an omnidirectional camera.
Yeah,
Or
but
omnidirectional mic.
yeah, but you have a sound threshold set.
I do. I'm trying to rise above that. The sound threshold should be for like echoes and things.
Look, the octopus is running. Oh, he stopped.
That's something.
Oh, he got spooked. As usual, we are watching our ocean life videos in the background because my ADHD demands being active, or else I will completely derail. Rise above the threshold, Zulu. Indeed, he shall rise.
I've never been one to rise above things. I'd rather just sink. Maybe Sea of Thieves is not for me.
It's okay. I've only sunk my ship twice. The first time it was
People.
no. The first time was my fault. I didn't quite grasp. Yeah, I sink a lot in Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I wasn't quite grasping the proximity to shore. And
Did you run into a rock?
oh, you run into rocks all the time. No, I ran into an island.
I need to show you a clip later. Hilarious. Yes, Jamie and Clip. You know exactly what clip I'm talking about.
This is a little black flying squirrel thing. It's cute.
A squirrel?
It's a little flying squirrel. You can tell better in person. The camera does not do that one justice in his cuteness.
Whoa, hold up, hold the phone.
What? What have you done?
It's in stock.
What's in stock?
The Celeste vinyl set. It's in stock.
Do it. Is that on the website with all the things?
Huh?
Is that on the website with all the like small video game things?
Fangamer.
Okay.
$115.
Oof, that sounds about right.
With an optional slip mat for $10. I don't know what a slip mat is.
A what?
I don't know what a slip mat is.
Oh, that goes on your record on your record player. But we have a velveted one. We don't need it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's for like older models.
Okay.
It prevents scratching.
I will save the $10 then and
Yeah.
use it for something else.
Like the Strabby plush.
You
Actually.
want me to buy the Strappy plush?
Well, I'll let you consider it as I disclose that I bought a Stingray plush today that's pancakes because they're sea pancakes. So it's a Stingray pancake. It's amazing. And you are in no way surprised by this.
Of course not. Okay. I mean, if you really want the Strappy plush, I may as well get it now and not have to pay extra shipping.
How much is the Strappy plush?
And this to my phone real quick.
Okay.
This is in... Hold up.
But
Apparently now it's a pre-order item.
they may have opened it up for pre-order. That's fine, still pre-order it.
Oh crap, I never figured out our,
Pre-order system?
yeah.
That's okay, you can figure that out for the Halloween release.
Hold on,
Because,
I wanna...
okay, well, you gotta figure it out by next week. I'll finish up everything next
I'm
week.
gonna make a new category on the website. So go into pre-order items, and they're not gonna be sorted by like soaps and bath bombs because it's basically just gonna be soaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, big announcement. I am working on a pre-order system. it's essentially just going to be a category on the website that says, this is not going to be available until X drop date.
And
So yeah.
If you watch us make something, the day we cut it, we'll try and make it live, use a picture from Stream and make it right then and there.
Yeah, it's not going to be like an official professional photo. It's just going to be, here's what we cut.
Yeah, and that way, because some of our soaps do sell out quickly because we are extremely small batch. Like most of our soaps, we do 10 at a time, and that's all we're going to do of them. So we're going to offer up a portion of them for pre-order because I still need stuff to take to markets. So at this point, I think we discussed doing half of each batch up for pre-order, and then if you miss the pre-order, you'll have a chance when we do the full release to still get it. And if that proves to be super effective, then we may just start upping everything that we do into 2 batches. Because, I mean, that's not super hard to do. So, what we're going to do, this is the seahorse, but the next
Horsey.
evolution. It's not Horsey, it's the next one up.
Oh, Seadra.
Seadra! I like Horsey and his whole evolution stream.
Okay, the Strabby plush is $30.
Oh, that was my cutoff.
Okay, it's $29? Actually, I just rounded up.
Okay, because I was like, if it's $30, that's a little too much, but it's right there at $30. But it gives you free shipping if we get that? Or is that not enough? Or do you not need free shipping?
I don't know about that. I don't know if there's... If there is a threshold for free shipping, we're probably meeting it with the...
$150.
Yeah. $115.
$115.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes the threshold is $150.
Oh.
Check what the threshold is. Okay.
I don't know if they have shipping, free shipping.
Rise above the threshold, Zulu.
Yes, that's my theme tonight.
That is your theme tonight. Look at his eyes.
The evil eyes. Those are the eyes that octopus gave you when you stole the cocktail from him.
So this is the fuck off eyes. And now we're a PG-13 stream for the next hour.
At least until you drop the next F-bomb, because you only get one.
I only get one.
Are you sure you don't want a Bunger plush? Bunger's better than Strabby.
But Strabby.
I hear your argument. If I may offer a counterpoint.
Okay.
Bunger.
Bunger is more unique than Strabby. I will give you that. Do they bundle them?
No.
Darn.
No. Strabby. I know you want the Strabby. Strabby's cute.
I love Strabby. He's so cute.
Bungers are a bit of a menace.
And we could go get a hamster ball and put the Strabby in the hamster ball. They sell bunny balls, actually. But I think Bastion's too big. Oh, this is that bear with the groin growth. Look. He needs a Brazilian, like, really bad, like, all the way. I've been considering getting the strawberry strawberry bath bomb mold and making Strabby bath bombs.
Why not?
I just haven't yet.
Great.
I think they'd be adorable.
It would be.
There's been a gasp.
I have just enough credit card points to do this.
Ooh. That's always
accumulating
nice.
for some time. I think this is a worthy cause to use.
No.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, count it as a rip. I think it'll stick back together, but
Somebody do exclamation mark rip, please. I'm busy losing money.
no, are you cracking further? Don't do that. Stay. If it doesn't crack further, it should hydrate itself enough. I knew it the moment I pressed it. I pressed it too hard. It's all my fault.
Ah, shoot.
What?
$12 shipping, so the credit card points are gonna cover the whole thing.
Close enough.
Close enough. Order. Yeah.
Mr. Mime! Could use poppy street seeds as strawberry seeds. If we did it in a bath bomb, I wouldn't want to do seeds because then that's something you have to clean out of your bathtub. But if we did a strawberry themed soap, then I would definitely do that. But my goal with baths is that you don't have to clean out anything when you're done, because that's just annoying. Like, I see these bath teas and stuff, and hi, Mama Jewel. I see these bath teas and stuff like that, and some of them come with bags and some of them don't. And they're basically herbal infusions for your warm bath. And all I can think is, okay, so now you have unrefined herbs just sitting in your pipes. And if there's any sort of seeds, like Lush had a period of time where they made this one scrub, and they used raw seeds in it. And since then, they've had to start toasting the seeds because it was ruining people's pipes. Oh, look at that turtle eating that leaf. It was starting to sprout plants in people's showers because the seeds would come out of this lotion soap scrub bar as you used it. And the plants were like messing up apartment plumbing and costing people thousands of dollars. And so they switched to toasting the seeds just enough to make them so they won't germinate.
That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie. Also, hi, Mama Jewel.
Okay, I'm
I
apparently
am
praised
not
this
in my usual cave
too
at the
early.
moment.
I praised this, and now it's disobeying. Do the thing. All right. I think I'm underfilling and overpressing. It's such a moment-by-moment little thing.
Can you do the rip? Let's do the rip. I'll do the rip.
Okay, that's got to be outside, right?
That was 100% outside. There is a storm coming in.
Okay. Is it heat lightning?
It's not that hot outside.
It doesn't have to be that hot to be heat lightning. Ooh!
Who?
Oh no, I thought this was a different shape version of the fire legendary bird, but I think it's just a different bird altogether. Because there's no red on it.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a Firo.
Okay.
It's just not colored.
Yeah. He's got his eyeball, but he doesn't have all of his coloring. Okay. I got excited for a second because there's only like 1 or 2 legendaries that can actually go into the bombs because they're all so wispy, which looks pretty as art, but not very structurally sound as anything else. So. Okay. Packed it a little more. I'm gonna press it nicely. Yeah, you can do another rip. I separated a second one. Okay.
Ain't too much fun with the rip command. Just know that it is a sad thing. Sort of. Because if it's not too broken, we can use it ourselves. Haha.
There we go. Much better. Yeah, most of the bath bombs I use are broken or ran out of time to paint them all. Ah, Cubone! So there's this, yeah.
Backstory there is.
So there's try that wording again. There is a theory going around that Cubones are actually Charmanders that never had their tail lit, because the running theory is that Mother Charizard lights the tail of her babies, and then they go off and be big, strong babies. But the mother, for some reason, dies before they hatch, so they never get to light their tail. And then, of course, the baby seeking some form of protection, the only option that they have is their mother's skull, which is why they don't have any evolutions, because they never get to grow up.
So, okay, so first of all,
That's super sad.
well, yeah, first of all, Cubone does have an evolution. He evolves into, at least in Gen 1, he evolves into a Marowak. But that being said, the rest of the theory holds water because it is canonically accurate that a Charmander will die. A Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard will die if their tail flame goes out. And it is also canonically accurate that Cubone wears the skull of his mother on his head. So, the only thing that's missing there is the link between the two. I think it's a solid theory.
Yeah, because, like, if you look at their body shape, it looks very similar to a Charizard with a shortened tail. So, you know, Pokemon just throwing out those really sad backstories.
Yep.
Sad or scary or messed up in some way. Like the balloon that will come along and strangle you.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. That Pokemon is after my time.
Green monkey. That looks like he has broccoli for hair. Yep.
Sure.
Well, he is going into the bath bomb. Yeah, I like that theory. I think it proposes a bridge for the logic and gives some hope to Charizards that are born without a mother. They don't just die. That they have to find a different way to live.
I always thought the idea that that Charmander dies whenever their tail flame goes out was pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
Because
Especially for not being a dragon type. Very upsetting. If they lose their flame, they die.
never made that connection, but yeah.
They're not a dragon type. The dragoniest dragon of all dragons isn't a dragon. He has dragon attitude. He has dragon face. He has dragon wings.
Actually, I don't know if Gyarados is officially a dragon type either. But I think in later generations they did eventually make Charizard a dragon type.
I don't think they did.
I think the reason for that was because they wanted him to fly and he was already a fire type. You can only have up to 2 types. So, and instead of being a dragon type, it was fire and flying.
But what are the characteristics of a dragon type? Dragonite's a dragon.
There aren't really characteristics for any type. It's just kind of what type they are. I mean, typically they will look like their type, but the look comes from the type. It doesn't really go the other way around.
But like, I circle back around to Dragonite and Dratini are dragon types.
They look like dragons.
They look like Dragon Tails dragons. There's this fire dude with the fire tummy and the fire shoulders.
Was that the one that's just fun to say, Incineroar?
Something like that, I think.
I don't know. One of these days we are going to have a Pokemon expert come into one of these and just cry.
No, then I will pull out my best descriptions.
Hopefully they don't cry. Hopefully they take the opportunity to educate us.
Or laugh hysterically and leave. This is also an acceptable outcome.
Also maybe laugh at my weird pronunciation of educate all of a sudden.
Edumacate?
We're getting educated.
While you're in,
Start making.
would not be the worst idea to start making Kirby. No. Your recipe is...
It was in a notebook, if I remember
It
correctly.
is in the Spaceman notebook, which I believe is on my desk. Under the Vox Machina. Oh my god, why are you all cracking? You found it?
Nope.
No.
Found the elephant one.
Then it would probably be on the table out here. I don't usually take them in there. We have a pointy leaf dog.
Found it. One of these.
Probably that one. I scraped recently, so you should have enough loose in there for at least one recipe.
I'm gonna stab it anyway because it's fun.
Stabby, stabby, stabby.
I should be wearing gloves.
You should. Your gloves are over there. And the bubble gum is right here.
I'm doing the 11 grams again, by the way, because I think that was perfect amount for Kirby.
Bring it up to 15. It'll last a little longer.
Okay.
We usually do 40.
I know we usually do 40. It's way too much for bubblegum.
No, it's not.
Ah, it's obscene.
It's amazing! But you have to account for the decrease by adding sunflower oil.
Only
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably should have watched first. Oh.
Yeah. So I think it's time to buy a new paddle for bath bomb making, because the current paddle, because we're using abrasives, it's starting to break down a little bit faster.
As long as we only need a paddle and
Not a whole machine. Yeah. That one's gonna be rough to replace if we ever have to replace it. Because that's probably our most expensive piece of equipment. It's a little sprouted peach coconut.
It's adorable, but I don't know what it is.
It's cute. It's so happy. Grim is now sulking by the back door because a storm is moving in, and we are not paying attention to him. But since a storm is moving in, his friends are not outside. So we will sit by the back door and sulk.
He loves the salt.
He's very good at it. Like, if there was a World Series of sulking, he would definitely be a top contender. Between our two boys, Grim is the better sulker. Mostly because we know that the rabbit is up to something nefarious if he is sulking, or has already done something nefarious.
Yeah, toss a toy for Grim.
We gotta toss a toy for Grim, the sad Grim. Oh, hi! We've come off of our sulking bed.
I don't know if I can really do it right now. I will do the toss a toy after I'm done making this batch.
Grim has brought a toy that he would like tossed. We'll get there, Grim. I promise. I promise. They're right over there, but you may need to get some more.
I definitely need to get some more.
Ah!
No, I'll toss a toy real quick.
And do a rip while you're at it. Because these ones are deciding to stop cooperating. Okay, my two batches are a little different consistencies, so I think that's part of it. And that is entirely my fault. Ah! Oh, god damn it. Stop it. Stop doing that. do. Dookie, our boy. There we go. There's the boy. I also don't think he realizes his fish is with all of our plushes. Because it's been there for a week. We've got a little white squirrel mouse thing. It's cute. I like all the cute ones. I have fun with the cute ones.
I'll get you in a second, microwave.
That's a nice frog, Grim. That's a nice frog. Interesting result on the tenor there. But hey, apparently that's a squirrel mouse mat. Two, 4, 6, 8. 6. So we're at 17. Good number so far. Oof, the sounds coming from outside sound like there is something brewing. Something big brewing. Alright. That's a weird one. I want something more interesting. There's more baking soda. Oh, this is that weird one that people say looks like Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Jinx.
Jinx. Yeah.
Oh, it's a shiny Jinx.
It's a shiny one, yeah. I like that this manufacturer does some shiny ones. I'm sure it's completely unintended, but they're definitely still painted, so I consider them shinies. I'm gonna drop it a couple times.
Yep.
Severe thunderstorm. Fun, fun. So everyone, if we lose power, we are gone for the night. We will post photos later of what we have done. We'll finish up wherever we are at that point.
We've never had an inclement weather problem before, but it's the first time for everything.
Yeah, we've only lost power while we were home for a significant amount of time once. We get power flicks. So if we get a flick, then we'll come back. But if it's out for more than 5 minutes, I'm sorry, we're done. So, we shall see.
292. Help me remember 292.
292. Poke it.
I am poking it. Saying just in case.
292. Don't jinx it. Yep, right? That would be our luck, wouldn't it?
It's bound to happen at some point in time. It happens to literally everyone.
It's Texas. Like, we got really lucky during the big freezes that we never lost power. And during the heat wave last year, we didn't lose power. And there was some speculation that it may have been because we're near a hospital, but we are definitely not on the hospital grid, so I don't know. There's this weird fluffy ghost that's sticking his tongue out with a little tail. Nope. Just a weird fluffy ghost creature. Grim, out of the kitchen. Just because Papa's in the kitchen does not mean you can be in the kitchen. Where's your frog? Where's your frog? Where's your frog? When we first had Grim, he only had a few toys because we let him pick out his toys as he went. Oh, that's a good boy. And because of that, he could identify, we kind of named each one, he could identify them and bring us certain ones. And now that he has a lot of toys, there's just a few that he does that with. And Frog is apparently one of them now. It's mostly his rubber toys. He likes the plushes, but he really likes the rubber ones. So, like, he knows his chicken, and he knows his frog. And when he gets one, he knows Honky Pig. Honky Pig is named Honky Pig because it honks and slowly drives the rest of us in the house insane because he loves to honk it. But it makes him happy, so we let him have Honky Pig a couple times a year. Or whenever he goes to daycare or boarding, because they'll allow rubber toys. And I'm sure that he just sits there honking it whenever he's not out for playtime.
He gets attention whenever he honks the pig because
it drives us all crazy.
Yes. Audibly groan whenever the honking starts. It's nuts.
Our dog has Pavlovianly taught us to groan for the sound of Honky Pig.
Yep. AKA give him attention.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is a black candelabra with a purple face. It's definitely one of the ghost type Pokemon. That looks like a ghost type Pokemon.
I'm not so sure, actually.
It's got like 3 heads. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think our pets train us as much as we train them. Because like, when we had just our rabbit Bastion, we discovered that he would start repeating actions whenever we say, oh, it's so cute, because then we would usually give him a treat right after that. So if he figured out we said something was cute, he would do it a lot. So we had to stop doing that because he was gaining some weight. And we were going through treats way too fast. Now he's just completely unhinged. Still cute, but totally unhinged. I still think my favorite is he loves cardboard. And so he'll start shredding. He has cardboard cat furniture. And he'll start shredding the cardboard. And if you come over to see what he's doing, he will stop and act like nothing is going on. That's because we have control of the food, unless you leave a pork loin on the counter. Yes, unless you leave a pork loin on the counter, then there is no hope. Or one time, an entire pot roast didn't get into the thing. Oh, ADHD. Pot roast. Crock pot. Prime Day is soon, and we were going to look at deals on crock pots. Yes. Circle back around. But yeah, so yeah, I wanted to look at crock pots and towels.
Okay. We'll try to remember that.
Yes, I will probably remember it, but saying it out loud helps. But yeah, we left a whole pot roast, and we realized it when we went to a market. And we have some cameras in the house, and we pulled it up, and we cycled back the footage, and we saw the moment he carried it down the hallway. We were like, well, confirmation he has it. And he was a smart boy. He ate some then, and he put some outside for later, and then he put some raw meat underneath our guest bed for later. Luckily, we found it the same day. We were able to clean it up, but
Yeah, I found most of it outside, but I was just like, man, this just doesn't feel like
it doesn't
the right
feel like
amount.
it.
I feel like there should be more, and yeah.
Yeah, because
Luckily
it was
found
like 8 or 9 pounds of pot roast. It was like 2 chunks. It was big because we were planning on having it with friends, so we were making enough for like 8 or 10 people. There's this green Godzilla looking guy. Yeah. But yeah, luckily we found it all same day, and we had another reason that Zulu had to come home during the market. Like, okay, well, we know he's carrying raw meat around the house, and we need this item. If it was one or the other, we probably would have just let it slide, but both things were like, okay, you know what, you go home, I'll run the market. We'll figure this out. Luckily, we haven't had
Fortunately, that
many
was
meat stealing events since then.
that was the market that was just right down the road from us. What just fell into this bathroom?
What color is it?
Black.
Oh, it's probably a little black from the other stuff.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the black sugar. So that's
Okay.
fine.
I mix the wet and dry, and then we don't find this yet, right?
Wet, dry, and then acid.
Wet, dry, mix, acid.
Yeah. And color. But yeah. It must be tough having that much food insecurity like Grim does, that he feels the need every time we leave the house that we're never going to come back and we're never going to feed him again. Because that seems how it is. Because it's within a couple minutes of us leaving that he does it. Because I've walked back in the house. One time, he did not realize I was still home. And,
Oh, he did it today while I was still home.
oh, what did he go for?
I left some stuff in the den. I thought it'd be okay because I was going to be working from home today.
Uh-huh.
But nope, he got into it before I got out of bed.
Yeah, he forgets when you're in bed sometimes. He's the Garfield of dogs. Yeah, I think a lot of it stems to him when he was abandoned, because he, before I finish this off completely, I want to test out those things. Here's the frog. When he was abandoned, he lost a ton of weight. So he currently sits around somewhere between 95 and 105 pounds, based off of how well he's eating and how much exercises he's getting. But when we got him, he was just over 60 pounds. So he was a skinny boy. And dogs degrade pretty fast when they're on their own, when they're used to being fed and all of that. So it's reasonable to think that he was on his own for probably a month or two. And there's some evidence that he's gotten in fights, and there's evidence of just other behaviors that are associated with just kind of fending for yourself after being loved, which is rough. So we think that the food insecurity and the scavenging kind of comes from like a dog version of anxiety, because he definitely has separation anxiety, and then it's more so overall anxiety. But we've worked with him quite a lot on it, and it's gotten better. He used to scream when we left the house. And you could hear him outside. It was really rough. Our neighbors mentioned it once or twice nicely. And we're like, yeah, we're working on it. But yeah, so it's a thing. What you do affects your pet.
If you're gonna get a pet, know what you're getting into.
Yeah, know what you're getting into. Know that it is a commitment. It's not just, oh, I want a pet.
You're not getting a puppy. You're getting a dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This leaf one is too tight.
It's too tight officially?
Yeah, it's too tight. I can't get it through. Yeah. But the press worked really well. I think once it sizes up, the little corners won't be an issue. So it looks good. Yeah, the only thing is I'd give it a gap. So that one is tested.
Issue.
I'll do it in a second.
I'm very excited to have a proper Mario mushroom and not that other one.
Yeah. So I just smacked. Hey, for a second.
One second.
It's okay. Yeah.
That's a lot.
How much? Oh, that's fine. So I just smacked it out of the mold, like forcibly, and it still held together like this.
Sweet.
Smacked out and fell. So.
Well, we lost the.
Well, yeah,
lost
it
the
landed
stem,
that way.
But
that's falling versus actually being gently placed. So that's really good. I like, but it needs to be bigger and it needs the gap. Now let's try
Betsy,
the
if you
other
happen to be
one.
listening, that is a thumbs up.
Definite thumbs up. Now we'll do this one.
Did 20. Compromise.
That's a good compromise. Okay. And the mushroom's good. The spacing will be a little better with a larger mold, so that won't be an issue. But yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. Love the sides. And it slides out nicely. So, whatever gap you put on that, that's perfect. Perfect. Those have been tested.
And
We're going to get them a little bigger because he's tiny. Tiny, tiny.
and I am mixing. Next batch.
Perfect. I have a couple more of these to make. And I wanted to make sure I had enough to test that.
Alright, this is on. You ready?
Oh, it's the little flower pig thing. Flower pig thing.
This is citric acid, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you could always taste it.
Yeah.
Everything's edible.
Yeah.
Not everything tastes good. Most things taste bad. Grim, out of the kitchen. Where's your frog? Oh, that's a nice pig. We have big pig. We killed little pig recently. Though we secretly have another little pig in the cabinet because they were on sale. So I bought two. Because I know we like pigs. Bubblegum!
Yeah. It is fragrant.
It's such a good fragrance, though. We tried to do it in soap, but certain scents degrade differently in soap than others, and it kind of degraded into a crayon smell, which still worked for unicorn, but wasn't what we were going for, so we switched it. This is that white seal, Selkie. Selkie.
No, that's a dugong.
Dugong. Dugong. See, we know one. Haha.
It's evolved and sealed.
Ah.
Alright, where's your pinky pink?
Should be on the bottom. All colors should go back there. It should be one of the white bottomed containers. Hot pink. Glitter. There's one more. There it is.
Alright, did we decide how much we needed of this again?
This one is the smallest amount.
Okay.
So, like a quarter of the thing, of the spoon, if even, because we want a really light pink. And you can always add more. But let it go for a bit.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me.
That might be good. Yeah, Kirby doesn't take a whole lot versus all the others. And also that pink is super concentrated. Yes! All of the loud noises! Hi, Quick. Welcome in. There's a thunderstorm, so if we lose ya, we lose ya.
Yeah, I'm doing some mixing off screen. Off screen.
A lot of these are cracked, and that's my fault. But they'll all work out in the end, because if they don't, I will crush them. So they have no choice. That one's really bad.
I was gonna say, that one's straight up broken. What are you doing? Exclamation mark Rip, if you could please. I am mixing. Okay, this looks pretty good.
That looks perfect.
Oh, look at me go! Look at me go. First try. Don't even need any extra.
You're amazing. Whatever would we do without you?
And probably still be pretty confident in making this stuff, just slightly slower.
This is that weird clam that floats with the spikes. Isn't it usually purpley blue?
Yeah.
So it's a shiny.
I think it's called cloister.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's a shiny cloister. Wow, that's a weird name. Kind of gross.
I think it evolves from like a Shelda or something, or Sheldy, I don't know. Yeah. This is gonna be good. This doesn't need to be changed at all.
Perfect.
I can go back to doing some stamping.
Stamp.
I'll just leave this for you.
If you want to transfer it to a bowl. Behind you.
Suppose I can do that.
Did something break? No, nothing broke. We just smashed things. Unless something did break. Well, oh yes. My bath bomb broke.
Yeah, your bath bomb broke. We need a...
Slowly. Yeah, it broke. It's sad. Now I crush it.
Oh, it's gonna fit.
Yes, you may have to lift up the bowl for a second and push it under where the bowl is. It's just enough. There you go.
Cool beans.
Can you do exclamation point RIP? Was that our lights or was that our funky light?
I honestly don't know. I'm not hearing beeps coming from the game room, so I think it was just the one.
Yeah, we have one funky light that we really need to replace one of these days.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just put that there for you. And once you're done with that batch, let me know, and I'll do our ad.
Okay.
Cut down on those pre-rolls a little bit.
We'll need to do add, and we'll need to grab put these in the dry room and grab another.
You got it indeed. Thank you very much.
Okay. Done a lot of cute ones, so let's do whatever this one is. Oh! Hey, I bet you this is the earlier evolution of the weird one with the spiral firehead thing.
Maybe.
Because it looks like one of those blow up weighted clowns that you punch and they come right back up. Yeah. The sky sounds angry. What have you done to anger the gods today? Good. The gods should be angered. Ah.
That must be crazy.
Aha! And that, last one for these. And because I can, I will use my new mold for the next one. Scrapey, scrapey. All right. Go ahead and run that ad, Zulu. I'm going to take these to the dry room, get something from the dry room, and then start on Kirby. USPS box right next to you is my new. Ooh, their walls have gotten a little bit wider.
Maybe we should reorder that D20.
D20 didn't come from them.
Oh,
I would like a new D20 because that one is literally painful to use.
we need to talk to our supplier.
We may have to talk to our supplier.
Maybe he can actually put it on the split.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, you know what? We'll ask him.
Though I don't know if that would work because of the way it has to come out.
Oh, yeah.
They would scrape and pull.
Yeah. Also, just the nature of them being separated like that, yeah, that doesn't work. Oh well, it was a thought.
Indeed, 'twas. Okay. So, new mold, thicker sidewalls, very interesting, very exciting, nice and shiny. So it makes me think that they're reinforcing the sides a little more, which is good because I was starting to notice corner breakdown, which is one of the reasons why we bought a new one in the first place. That and they were having a Memorial Day sale and we were buying one anyway. So might as well get a new one. Our other one we had for about 2.5 years. It still works, as you saw. We still did all of those others. But let's break in the new one and see how it's doing. Oh yes. Rain alert, severe weather notice. Ooh, it's all over us, isn't it? Checking radar now. Where's the storm? I mean, I hear it, but that doesn't mean it. Oh, it's still coming. We are in the green. The red is on its way. It'll be here by 10. That's terrifying. It's really loud now.
Right?
How much worse is this gonna get?
Who knows?
We'll find out.
Let's skip subscribes tonight and then another time.
Nah, this shouldn't take me very long.
Right, but we have how many bars of soap to cut tonight?
100? Yeah, we'll skip Soot Sprites tonight. Yeah, we'll be okay. We can do Soot Sprites. Shit. We just do bath bombs next week? So we have the yeah. We'll do soaps on stream day. And then we'll do bath bombs next week. So we gotta do painting and pressings.
Well, fortunately, we don't need to leave on Thursday this time.
Yeah. God, we have more things to make. Well, good thing we have a busy Saturday scheduled, so we can just kind of make things as we barbecue.
Yeah.
Ooh, it slid off so smooth. But there's some filament. Brush that off. Let's see if it does it again.
Look at that.
Oh, there it goes.
Did we lose stream?
Yep. We lost everything.
Hang on, let me look because we're plugged into a UPS.
Oh, that's right, we are. Well, we lost it here. And that means this camera may have reset. Oh, but this camera has an internal battery, so maybe not. Alexa, select. Are we still on? Check on your phone. I'll check on my phone. How meta is this if we are? Are we still live? Somebody comment if we're still live. I'm gonna check our... We're still live! And that, kids, is why you buy a battery backup for your computer when you live in thunderstorm territory. Because it works. Oh my god, this new mold. Whatever they did, it's just sliding out. I'm in love. But I'm considering replacing all of my other molds. No, can't do that. But I am going to go on their Facebook tomorrow and compliment them. We're still live! Hello, everyone. I'm back. You were here the whole time, but now I can see us again. But yeah, if that happens again, if it's just another flick like that, we'll try and come back. We should be able to remain live. I believe the battery backup that we have connected to Zulu's computer is good for like a couple hours. If not at least like 15 minutes. So, yeah. And I'm gonna have my phone right here, actually. I'm gonna glue into stream so that, oh, I guess I can't really watch myself on my own account, can I?
Should be able to.
I should be able to.
Yeah.
My button says live. It's stream manager. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna leave that right there.
I was like, wait a minute, they do all the time for you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave that right there so that I know if we're still live, if we lose power again. Monterey will be quiet now. Quiet's fine. We got storm sounds, which I now find relaxing. Took me a while to find storm sounds relaxing.
I mean, you have a good reason.
Yeah, I'll tell that story. So, I am originally from California, and I can tell you on a single hand how many thunderstorms I experienced while living in California. I even remember one time specifically laying in my parents' bed with them because I was sick, and a thunderstorm came through. I'm like, wow, these are really cool. I wish we had more thunderstorms. And I was like 11 or 12. And so I've probably experienced up until that point, or up until I went off to college, probably 5, maybe 6 thunderstorms in my whole life at that point. And so I went off to college, and college was in New York, or at least my first one. There were 3 colleges, technically 4. Screw the 4th one. But New York, thunderstorms are just kind of a thing that happens. Nobody was bothered by it, so I didn't think anything of it, and just went about my life. Well, it was probably my 2nd thunderstorm in New York, and you weren't really taught thunderstorm safety as a kid, but apparently that's a thing, which I know now, but we didn't have to worry about that because it didn't rain often enough in California, let alone thunder. So I went out walking in a heavily wooded area under power lines during this fairly severe, or at least what I would consider a fairly severe thunderstorm. It wasn't raining a whole lot, but there was a lot of thunder and lightning. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'll go walk there. I was going to go meet the guy who was transporting my car from California to New York. And so I'm walking. I got all the way across campus, and I got to the street, standing by the street light, underneath power lines, next to trees, in the clearing that is the road, which now I know is stupid. And it felt like the lightning kept getting closer. And then there was a really bright flash that looked like it was right above me. And I woke up like 10 feet from where I was a second later. Don't really remember it. Remember feeling really sore. Part of me thought maybe I jumped out of the way or something. And the guy coming or giving me my car saw the whole thing happen. He's like, "Are you okay? You just flew." And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Kind of dismissing the whole experience. Like, I have no idea what just happened. I don't feel good. I want to go back. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive back. I don't want to be outside anymore. I do not want to be outside anymore. That sound of lightning being within a couple feet of you, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And so what we speculate happened is I got what's called a ground strike. So the, oh, there's the rain. Ooh, that's some severe rain. So a ground strike is when lightning hits the ground, usually right next to you, so it was probably within 5 to 10 feet of me, and goes through the ground and wants an exit point instead of going into the ground. And so it decided to come up through me and throw me. And it took me a couple weeks to kind of like figure out, yeah, that's what really happened. As I was like, did I almost get struck by lightning? Did I get struck by lightning? And doing a little bit of research, I already had kind of like a physical tick occasionally when I would get cold. But after that, especially the first couple months after that, it was much more pronounced and happened even when I wasn't cold. Now it's gotten to the point where if I'm stressed and tired, it'll happen more. Or if air is brushing against my neck or hair, it'll trigger it again. But yeah, so I was definitely struck by lightning. Definitely a ground strike. I've got some scars under my breasts from where I got like first bordering on 2nd degree burns from my bra. It was an experience. And as there were more and more thunderstorms out there in New York, I got less and less comfortable with them. More and more I realized what had happened to me and kind of was going through some other stuff that helped develop panic attacks. But thunderstorms and I were no longer, wow, it's so pretty. But I have worked on that because it's not gonna get me again. It's not coming for me. Though if it comes close to the house, all bets are off. If there is a nearby lightning strike, all bets are off. It's coming for me by that point, and we're no longer okay. But if it's off in the distance, it's okay. Like, if I can see it without hearing it, it's a different sound. Thunder versus actual, like, crack of lightning is different. Thunder doesn't bug me as much anymore. If it's really loud, it'll kind of get me. But once you start hearing those cracks of lightning, that'll get me. Like, I was driving home a couple weeks ago, and there were lightning strikes near the road, and I almost pulled over. The only thing that kept me from pulling over, like trying to wait it out, was the fact that there were lightning strikes around the road I was driving on. And I was like, if I stop, it could hit me. It's not gonna, but it could. So, yeah. I hate driving and then you see it off in the distance. You're like, okay, it's over there. But then it starts like illuminating things right next to you. And that still gets me. That'll still get me. So when I left New York, it got better. Like, I was back in California for a couple years. Life was fine. There were no thunderstorms while I lived in California. There was barely any rain while I lived in California. And then I moved to Texas. And those first couple of thunderstorms were rough because I wasn't used to them anymore. And I was definitely not in a great place with my anxiety at the time. So that was fun. But now that they've been pretty regular, I've gotten a lot more accustomed to them. And even Zulu can tell you, when we were first together 8 years ago, almost 9, if it was thundering out and lightning outside, I was like, no, we're not leaving the house. We're not doing anything. We are going to turn on all the lights so we don't see the flashes. We're going to turn up the volume on something. We're going to cover it all up. And now, sometimes, I'll watch it at a distance and be totally cool. But, yeah, I have every right to be afraid of thunder and lightning. And I'll even tell my coworkers every so often, I'll be like, hey, there's been some close thunder strikes. I am not responsible if I curse openly out loud if anything's closer. And we actually did have lightning strike one of the trees right out front of our... yeah, it struck the trees right out in front of our office. And that was a day. That was actually the day I had to explain to my coworkers why I was freaking out a little bit. But, yeah, lots of fun. Maybe not watch movies where the main character gets struck by lightning. Yeah, maybe not. At least I'm not like that one guy. So, of course, when you get struck by lightning, people start bringing up to you things about getting struck by lightning. So, a few facts about getting struck by lightning. Getting struck by lightning has a really high survival rate. Much higher than people think. It is 9 out of 10 people struck by lightning survive. Most people think it's like 50-50. But it is much higher than that, which is nice and quite reassuring. But most people who are struck by lightning, like 7 out of 10 who get struck by lightning, end up with some sort of neurological damage, which I already had nerve damage, so joke's on them. Actually, it was really minor at that point. It was worse a couple years later. But that was completely unrelated. And then most strikes are ground strikes like I had. Your chances of surviving a direct strike are a little bit lower, but it hasn't really been evaluated because they're not really like zapping people to figure out exactly where the strike is. Usually the difference is told through like video or picture or stuff like that. Like, oh, here's a video of the ground strike hitting, I think there was one out there for a while of like 13 people were standing close next to each other during a thunderstorm, and a ground strike happened right next to them, and it hit all of them. And that's intense. That would suck. I think in that group, a few of them did die. And that was in California. Oh, it's getting louder as I'm talking about this. But that one happened in California, but it was also on the beach. So like the conductivity of water and all of that played into it. But there was one guy who holds the record of being struck the most times. This guy got struck by lightning during his life 7 times. And then reportedly, his grave has also been struck by lightning multiple times. But I feel like that later part is more urban legend than the rest, because the rest were all documented times. Because like he worked for the Park Service, and part of his job was to be out in remote locations, and that's one of the reasons why he was struck. He had 2 direct hits and 5 ground hits. And usually the biggest obvious difference with a direct hit is you get the lightning scar. It's a scar in your skin where the lightning actually traveled through. Now, some people who get ground strikes can also get that, but it's usually a direct hit. Unfortunately, it also usually fades. So I've been thinking for a while about getting it tattooed on my leg, where I was most likely connecting with. So, because I've earned it. I earned that scar. All right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 4, 6, 10, 12. 12 Kirby's. Awesome. Sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 12. Perfect. Zulu, would you like to come grab this for me, and I'm gonna set up for cutting. And then you can order us some food while I cut.
Do we have another option?
We have Dino Nuggies.
Nuggies?
You do some Dino Nuggies. I'm down with that too. Ooh, I'm starting to see flashes. All right, let's wash up this powder. Ooh, my water container's almost empty.
Just do this. Thirsty boy.
He's thirsty boy.
Go outside and open your mouth.
But I don't want to get wet. I've always had labs growing up, so having a dog that doesn't want to get wet is weird to me.
I mean, he's okay with being wet. You just gotta goad him into doing it first.
Yeah. So foamy. It looks like blight spreading across the galaxy. Did you galaxy it before you left or no?
I didn't galaxy it.
Yeah, someone galaxied it.
Dang it. I need to see it.
Hurry, it's almost over.
I'm not gonna get back in time.
No, probably not.
I'll take a clip of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably still have enough time to do that.
Probably. It is.
Get a pole burner too.
Yep. Oof. Ooh, so foamy. So foamy. I see who did it now. maybe I'll have this stream thingy open all the time. I can see it was you, Midnights. That's okay. It was really cool. All right. Preheat the oven while we do the things. Ooh, it's stuck a little bit. So I am going to split the slabs anyway first. I have to. But we can still vote on what we're cutting first. Okay. Got my slab splitter. Tall enough this time. Hook that on the edge. Let's split some soap. Ooh, nice and tight. Ooh, that's looking good. It's looking real good. That's a great gif. And the last chunk. All right, we're gonna cut the Texas flag first. Awesome. Get lemon lavender split here real quick. We'll get that on. Away. Oh, we flicked for a moment again. That one got grim. Looks like we're still alive for now. Power came right back. That's what we talk about, those flicks. Oh, look, my jellyfish came back. Yeah, I'm gonna cut fast. Oh, come on. Separate, please. Oh, thank God. There we go. I feel like if you guys got hit, we would hear it here. Okay. Our slabs are split. That divide is nice. This guy out of the way. This one in here. Let's see how this flag turned out. All right. So. Little cap. And the cut. That turned out perfect! A little seepage at the bottom, but I am not upset by it at all. That looks great. Yeah, I love those dividers. They really do a good job making it nice and clean. Turned out perfect. Little glycerin rivers up in the white, but it's not bad at all. It's always the risk with white. It looks so good. Ah, and that magnolia. My smell's coming back, so it's not the greatest. But the magnolia scent is clean and crisp. Is Daddy Toast one of our fellow Texans? There's a few of us in the group. I love how this turned out. I've been planning on doing this soap for a few years now, but I've always done the other ones first and just ran out of time. So I'm glad I finally got to do it. And look at that, we got a baby bar. Okay, that was too close. I didn't like that one. That was in the neighborhood. Okay, we're good. We're gonna be okay. But we're gonna just cut through these instead of voting so that we can get them done. Because if it's that close and it's not supposed to be the big part for another 40 minutes, then yeah, okay. We're just gonna go from firmest to softest real quick. I'll just cut a couple of each, and then once we get through all of them, I'll come back and do the rest of them, just in case we lose power. Because that might happen. But yeah, that one got me good. Definitely not shaken, but not great. Heavy on the white in this one, but the edges should be. There's my mix. Love the blue and the green. Just relaxing and calming colors. I love the big slab with the drop swirl. You get some really cool blending of the colors. Some of the edges, oh no, this is the middle, that's why it's so white. The edges are gonna have more of the blues and green. That's enough of that one. I hear the sky turning again. this lemon lavender gets so sticky. Oh, very sticky. Nice layering, nice swirl, nice and gentle. Oh, that's an unforeseen problem. The oven turned off. I didn't really think about that. It might be a gas-powered oven, but the interface is electric. Okay. And let's get this one. So this one's really soft still. That often happens with ones that we interact with a lot. Let's see how these flowers turn out. Your cut separate. There's our flower field. That turned out great. I love the colors. Little bandy at the end, but that usually happens. That's more of a representation of what it's looking like inside. Just a field of wildflowers. Over here. Looks so good. I love these layering, the intricate little designs that it creates. It's a lot of work, a lot of back and forth, but it really pays off in the end. Looking good. This one will definitely need to sit like the lemon lavender. Raid! Welcome in, Lavish. Thank you so much for the raid. Come on in. We are cutting soap. We are also having a severe thunderstorm, so if we cut out, we're done for the night, which is why we're cutting things kind of quickly right now. But we're cutting our, oh, it's so soft. Cutting our bluebonnet field. Yes, so this is bluebonnet. Over here is my lemon lavender. We'll come back to it. But absolutely love how this turned out. It's supposed to look like a field of wildflowers. Now, Texas state flower, the bluebonnet. Beautiful purpley blue little paintbrushes. This is part of our Texas collection that I do every year. Absolutely love how it turned out. We also did the Texas flag because you have to. But yeah, this turned out gorgeous. And I like the scent on this because it's like a peppery floral. And oh yeah, you'll hear some of the lightning too because it is yeah, definitely some severe thunderstorm happened here. Residue of the prior bar had to tell him not to use soap. Oh god, I don't remember what spot I smelled like, so he grabbed some for me. Yep, don't eat the soap. Yeah, the spa day is our eucalyptus and spearmint blend. This just turned out so nice. I love how the green both of our greens came back nicely. That green vibrance always looks terrible when it's curing. But as soon as, or when it's saponifying, but as soon as it's saponified, it is fine. Probably could have done some more green a little earlier, but I think this turned out really well. This was really one of my first like difficult soaps that I tried, and it's one of the ones I bring back every year, and I love it still. There's the end. It gets a little muddled at the end, but it's still just gorgeous. Okay. Back to the others, now that everything's at least been shown. Go back to our spa day. This is the spearmint and eucalyptus. Got a few more of those cut. I love how the swirls and the light colors come together. Such a pretty bar. Probably one of our best-selling bars, even though I was reluctant to do eucalyptus in the beginning. Speedrun announcements now. Oh yes, we have announcements. So I think we should raid out while we have power. Probably a good idea. I'm gonna stop cutting because I can cut in the dark. So this weekend on Saturday, flash of lightning, we will be participating in the Raid Train event with the Makers and Crafters Society. We will be on Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Time, anchoring down that day, finishing off the whole thing basically at that point. And excuse me. We're going to be doing some special stuff that day. We're going to be working on a commissioned bar of soap that was won by our one in the MoCo partner party, annual party. And we'll be making a dog-themed soap, which is going to be really cute. Very excited. I get to use my stamp and my scraper that I bought. And then we'll also be making our annual Space City bar, which we have not made on stream before. It is a very unique, very special bar. We actually take the shavings of all of our bars that we make over the year and we turn them into planets. And then those planets get suspended in space with nebulas and stars, and we frost it, and it's absolutely a gorgeous bar. And so we're gonna make that, and we have a lot of planets, so we're gonna see how many bars we can make between our planets and our fragrance oil, and we should be able to get at least 4 bars, I think, maybe more, but we shall see. And then next weekend, not just of arrows, it's my favorite soap period. Oh yeah, it's probably one of my favorites that we do too. Those are getting close. Grim is not a big fan of the close stuff either. Next week we will be at Delta H Con, so next week we will be doing an entirely bath bomb week. So we'll be finishing up our Texas collection also on Saturday, which we may stream it, we may not have time to stream it. If we don't have time to stream it, then we'll just make it on our own because we have a lot of stuff to make on Saturday for that convention next week. Grim, get out of the kitchen. Thank you. Is there anything else we need to announce? I feel like that's it. Oh, we're also going to be working on a pre-order system for the soaps because we know oftentimes we forget like 2 months later when they're done curing. So If there's something that you're interested in, we will be moving forward to have a pre-order system for our next release in August. So sometime in the next 2 weeks, that should be available. We'll be offering half of the batch for pre-order, so we have to limit it because we do still need soap to take places. But if we find that demand is there, we will increase accordingly. But other than that, I think that's about it. Again, Friday or Saturday at 5 o'clock, we will be at the Makers and Crafters, so come see us and all of the other people participating. Thank you guys, and hopefully the rain is not too bad wherever you are. And hopefully we keep power. Bye.